Some actors have an unwavering commitment to their art. There is a lengthy history of actors who have been so engrossed in their characters they have gone too far, either injuring themselves or frightening their co-stars on set. Allow me to show you the 10 popular actors who lost control and took their movie roles way too far. Now let's get started. Starting off with number 10, Johnny Depp in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. When Johnny Depp was offered the role of Hunter S. Thompson in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, he leapt at the chance to play the role his idols and fellow Kentuckian. Depp essentially moved into Thompson's basement to study his mannerisms and way of life in order to prepare for the role. Depp's uncanny deception had the cast and crew afraid that he was in over his head by the time production began. People wondered if Depp and his co-star Benicio del Toro were tripping on acid since they were so dedicated to their roles. Depp was still in Thompson's gear a year after the film's completion. Thompson and Depp remained close friends until Thompson committed suicide in 2005, when Depp allegedly paid $3 million for Thompson's cremations to be shot out of a cannon. 9. Colin Firth in The King's Speech. Colin Firth portrays future King of England George VI in The King's Speech and has delivered a number of speeches in addition to doing a number of other royal responsibilities. Because a movie about a man giving a flawless speech in front of millions of people and then retiring to his massive castle to high-five everyone, he knows it'd be a little boring. The movie has a villain in the form of George's near-debilitating stammer, which ruins nearly every speech he gives until he hires a vocal coach. George had an almost identical speech impairment in real life, which he has never fully recovered from. Firth became so engrossed in a character that he revealed in an interview that he still stammers while speaking informally, even during the interview. It's worth mentioning that this occurred May of 2011, 8 months after the film released in September of the previous year. We assume that Firth has overcome his stutter, basically on how perfectly he enunciates every phrase while striking people in the throat with his pistol in The Kingsman: The Secret Service in 2014. 8. Isabelle Adjani in Possession. Any horror fan knows the subway scene in Ajari Zwansky's 1981 film Possession is one of the most terrifying and disturbing body horror scenes ever seen on film. And if you haven't watched the movie yet, prepare to be amazed because you're in for a treat. Isabelle Adjani received a Caesar Award for her portrayal of Anna, but her role's severely physical and mental demands made recovery exceedingly difficult. Later, Adjani told a French magazine it took her years of treatment to get Anna out of her system, and that she would never play another part like it again. 7. Heath Ledger on Dark Knight. Heath Ledger portrayed for Joker, The Dark Knight, earned his Academy win for the Best Supporting Actor. Sadly, it was posthumous award since Ledger died in January 2008 of an accidental drug overdose. Rumors circulated in the years following Ledger's untimely death that the part's preparation had played a factor in his death, despite the fact that they've been vehemently denied by members of his own family. It's difficult not to see Ledger's pretended descent into lunacy as a detrimental to his general health. He kept himself in tight seclusion before filming began, kept a record of frightening pictures to enter the domain of a psychopath. Even when he wasn't on set, Ledger struggled to get rid of the Joker. He told the New York Times, "I probably slept 2 hours a night." In truth, Ledger's death was caused by a combination of painkillers and sedatives. 6 on the list, we have Adrien Brody in The Pianist. Adrien Brody's physical change from the 2002 film The Pianist is evident, but the actor has also spoken about the immense mental and emotional strain of playing Holocaust survivor pianist Władysław Zeppelin, for which he received an Academy Award for Best Actor in 2003. Did you know that in order to prepare for this movie, he gave up his residence, sold his car, deactivated his phones, and even traveled to Europe? However, he found the emotional impact of hunger to be the most shocking and toughest task to overcome. I've experienced loss, I've experienced sadness in my life, but I didn't know the desperation that comes with hunger. These were the moments where I wasn't sure if I'd get out of the experience with his sanity intact. And in the end, he said it took a year and a half to settle back into things. 5th, Val Kilmer in The Doors. Kilmer began his preparation for his role as rock superstar Jim Morrison in Oliver Stone's 1991 film The Doors by studying 50 of the band's songs. He said he spent hours in the studio studying Morrison's vocal performances and viewing endless film of Morrison's interviews in order to gain a sense of his personality and mannerisms. The cast and crew referred to him as Jim on set, and many stated towards the conclusion of filming they couldn't distinguish the difference between Morrison's and Kilmer's singing voice. However, after the shoot, Kilmer stated he needed to go to treatment to get Jim out of his system. Kilmer knows Jim Morrison better than Jim Morrison ever knew himself, according to rock producer Paul Rothchild, who knew Morrison. Moving on to number 4, we have James Cromwell in Babe. Cromwell landed one of his rare major film parts in 1995's Babe, in which he was overshadowed by a talking pig. But it all worked out since the picture was not only a smash blockbuster, but it also altered Cromwell's life, transforming him from a vegetarian to a vegan. Cromwell was described the experience of filming the video as a changing moment in his life, noting in the interview with Vince that witnessing a young piglet respond to being placed on a piece of grass had a significant impact on him. Since then, Cromwell has been a staunch advocate for animal rights, particularly for pigs, who naturally now hold a special place in his heart, owing it to Babe and its sequel. Number 3 at the list, we have Hugh Laurie in House. House creators publicly stated during the casting process that they sought a quintessential American actor to play their titular Dr. House. Soon before choosing British actor Hugh Laurie, Laurie went all out when it came to portraying the cane-wielding House by walking with a limp. So much so that, despite 8 years of fidgeting a limp on screen, the actor still walked with one in 2015. Laurie allegedly tried to lighten the burden on his leg by swapping which leg was carrying it on occasion, something he claims no one noticed or called him out on during production, or in the years since the program finished. Laurie's acting is apparently so brilliant, he can get people to forget his British accent and the fact that he didn't always limp on the same leg, despite the fact that this was a distinguishing feature of the character. Now that's talent. Second, Bob Hoskins in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Hoskins spent hours a day talking and acting alongside imaginary individuals who weren't actually present, in addition to pretending to have a great name throughout filming. To cope with this dissonance of constantly hearing voices but never seeing them while filming, Hoskins learned how to hallucinate. That Roger and other characters he starred alongside were actually there. When filming was over, Hoskins began talking to himself and even imagining that Roger was in the same room, causing his doctor to urge him to take a vacation from acting. Lastly, we have Sarah Paulson in The People vs. O.J. Simpson and American Horror Story. Sarah Paulson's leading parts on The People vs. O.J. Simpson won her a lot of praise. Paulson had to smoke in both roles, in Simpson and American Horror Story. But here's the catch. Did you know that Paulson didn't smoke in real life? Or at least didn't until she started smoking many times a day on set. After the first initial revolution of smoking for the first time wore off, Paulson revealed in an interview with Stephen Colbert that she began to want cigarettes for real, getting anxious to film sequences that needed her to smoke, because the character Paulson would portraying, Marcia Clark, was a well-known chain smoker in real life. This is referred to as method acting. In certain quarters, unfortunately, it turned out into a cigarette addiction. The whole experience was described as Paulson as a genuine situation, which is emphasis for something that would normally be a problem for someone who isn't a movie star, who can hire someone to smack smokes out of their mouth once the shoot is over. What do you think about these actors lost control and took their movie roles too far? Let us know in the comment section below. That is all for today's video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.